In episode 52 of Six in the Mix, we are going rogue. Very little intro. We are going to toss it right over to Don, who's going to get us going with some of the most recent topics. And here we go.
All right, gentlemen. Well, it's been a while since we've all gotten together. Lots of things have happened. I can't even begin to go back and into the archives of this last month of news items to even attempt to cover. Uh, but I know that Matt has returned from Florida, so let's start with some light news there. How was the trip there, Matt?
Yeah,
Get some sun. It doesn't look like you got some sun, but that's why you're white and pasty all the time. So
I'm a true white male. See, I'm either white or red or peeling. And actually, this was and I may have mentioned this in the previous one, but I thoroughly lathered in sunscreen and stayed out of the sun because the last couple of times I went down there, I just got torched. And it lost like 2 days of vacation because you had to stay inside and get a hoodie. It was just nuts. So was really smart this time around and enjoyed the trip. We spent the whole day on Sanibel Island and Captiva Island, which was my favorite day of the trip. Really enjoyed that. Had a buddy at work share a couple of his favorite haunts on the islands, so we went there to eat and get some cake and get a beautiful nature preserve there too, which was kind of fun. There wasn't a whole lot of wildlife, but it was a beautiful drive and walk. So we really had a great time. Weather was perfect. I think it rained maybe one day a little bit in the morning, but it was like high 70s. Got to see a Twins game, my first Twins spring training game, which was really exciting. If I wouldn't have been filming for you clowns, I would have caught a ball. I think that Polanco tossed up. He tossed up in the stands. A guy right behind me grabbed it, but I was like trying to film because as these guys are walking off the field, I'm like, man, this is the lineup we're going to see. Correa and everybody. Well, I think he was DHing, but Buxton was coming in. It was pretty awesome. So yeah, we were right behind the Twins dugout, a couple of rows back. So yeah, overall it was fantastic. That seems like 3 years ago, to be honest with you, though. But
it seems like all of the United States descends on Florida in about March. Did you find it super crowded and just like there were so many people there?
We typically always go down at that time, so I wouldn't say it was any worse than normal. So, but there's a lot of people. I think we just expected that. Ryan, it sounds like you're heading down here pretty soon. It would be interesting. We've talked about maybe going down in the summertime. I'm just concerned it'd be so hot and humid at that time, but it wasn't any more abnormal. The traffic's crazy in Cape Coral no matter what, but it wouldn't do bad.
If it's so hot, you just need to remember the last 2 months we've had where it's supposed to be warming up and it just hasn't. So you're good.
Yeah, that's correct. So Matt, that wildlife preserve you mentioned, I think I've been there. Is that the one where you're supposed to be able to see gators? You didn't see any gators there?
No, we did not see any gators. We went on the drive, but here's the thing: like it's all about like high tide and low tide, and so we coordinated to be at low tide. We wanted to be on the beach at that time, and that's really the best time to be at the Ding Darling reserve. The guy who's famous for, I think he did a bunch of stuff with birds and such. But we were there during high tide, which is a time where they kind of go to sleep or whatever, because we wanted to be on the beach that's the best time for shells. So we were at low tide both times on the beach. So
did you all go to the shell factory? Speaking of shells, did you see that?
On Sanibel?
It's actually, I think, in Fort Myers, so it's away from the beach.
Yeah, no, we didn't go to any. We stopped at, I think, one touristy thing on Sanibel. But I think that was just to get some drinks and maybe use the restroom. I don't think we found so many shells on the actual beach. We didn't need to pay somebody a premium to get their shells. The girls found some with like little hearts shaped in them. They were just millions of them. It was really fun. Painful on the feet, but certainly enjoyable to find.
Oh, that just makes me want to go. It's so blasted cold in Wisconsin right now. I'm so sick of it. Clouds, wind, cold, rain. It's perfect weather.
It's funny. I don't remember being down in Cleveland, I think it's a little bit less, but we still are all complaining about the weather too. But back in college days when we used to go golfing, in the springtime a lot, I don't recall it being as crazy as this. I feel like it was decent. We could play in, maybe not March, but April. I felt like we're out there and maybe a 3/4 zip on, but I don't remember the craziness of
Yeah.
super frigid cold and wearing coats and gloves. I don't recall that. So I know climate change is a real thing, I guess. Who knows? It's getting colder, but not warmer. So maybe it's the opposite of what you're saying.
Climate changes. Who'd have thought?
Don, just follow the science.
Yeah, Don, follow the science. I don't know, Matt. I'm thinking back to college, and I remember what you're saying about golfing, but I know my senior year, my second senior year, that is, we had 16 baseball games scheduled, and we got 8 of them in.
Oh wow!
You
So
had 16 scheduled, really?
we did.
Wow.
We did. Yeah.
Wow. That seems
So-
like a lot to fit in.
To fit it. Well, yeah. I mean, you look at teams coming up from the South. I mean, teams in the South, they schedule like 40
yeah.
games.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just, and then we get 1/5 of that in. Come on. No wonder I didn't make it to the big leagues.
That's
Well, and any teams of repute, they're traveling down south and playing their whole seasons, away. So cold up here.
We did well enough just to be able to afford some McDonald's meals after our sporting event. So
With the limit of 550. No more. Oh yeah. And do you remember how most people got around that? You had this large order. Everybody's ordering from one poor person up there taking this massive order. And then you had the infamous people going back up, be like, you missed our order. You missed this. And they'd walk away with 5 more burgers. How do you even do that?
That's
Just
it.
ripping McDonald's straight off. Unbelievable.
No, Wendy's was the greatest because you got those junior bacons for $1. They were on
That's
the value
right.
menu, and you just
That's
loaded up on
right.
3 or 4 of those, and then
Yep.
a fry and maybe a frosty. If you had Mickle on your side, he could swing a couple frosties on the down low.
Oh,
My favorite fast food deal was the 99-cent Whoppers.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man,
They were
Don, I am
best.
with you.
that was the best.
They were 99 cents at one time, or was that like a
99
special?
for a
It was
long time.
special, Yeah, it was
For-
a special.
but they-
it was a
they would
special
run that-
deal, but they
yeah.
would run it. Yeah, they would.
It's the
run it
greatest
for
fast
weeks.
food burger of all time.
Right. I mean, it was
That
just-
Whopper's
oh,
amazing.
that was
Wow.
fantastic.
I forgot. that.
Actually have that tomato on there, and the cheese on there is so good. And to be honest with you, I love Burger King fries. Way
Yeah,
better than
right.
McDonald's.
Yes,
Way better than
Correct.
McDonald's.
correct.
I mean, the McDonald's and the Coke, fries and Coke, that's supposed to go together. But man, I will take a Pepsi and Burger King fries and a Whopper any day over any McDonald's. Love that food.
Yeah.
Wait a sec. I guess I got a bone to pick with you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
My freshman year, I won a bet with you, and you took me to McDonald's and not Burger King. What's up with that?
Well, I was using my resources well.
Got it.
And by the way, I probably lost a ton of bets through my career. So I was having to, run my budget numbers with which fast food had the best deal. So
No, you taught me a valuable lesson because obviously I'm coming in, Jeremy Schaefer is well known on campus, and I can't remember. I think it was like a golf thing we did or something. And you said, Matt, you took me to McDonald's, and I was like, all right, I'll get like a little hamburger. And he's like, dude, you order what you'd like. You won. I'm going to pay up.
That's right.
And I appreciated that. And that's kind of what launched into the
and
whole
you
golf.
carried. That's
Jeremy,
exactly
you
right.
started him on that?
Yes.
Created a monster.
Well,
Oh my word.
the thing that was hilarious is that I never bet him again, and you lost all the time. And so I got the front row seat to the most hilarious things played out live in front of me than anybody could have imagined. I just remember going into all these restaurants after we would play our golf tournaments. You would lose, and Matt, you would have to pay for Matt. And it was like half the menu is on Matt's tray. And sometimes he would come in 2 trays. And you're just sitting there silent and shaking your head, looking into kind of like the side, kind of, and shaking your head. You'd look back and be like, no. And Matt'd be like, ah, keep it coming.
Thank you,
that's-
Jeremy. Thank you
that's
for
it.
training him so well and
Ah,
Yep.
cleaning out my bank account in the
good
meantime.
stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, vacation was good. Thanks for asking, Don.
Good. good. Well, did you guys catch the T-Wolves games? Playoffs they already got bounced. So I think Matt, you predicted them to win the NBA Finals, did you?
I don't think I picked him to win. Did
You
I?
didn't?
No,
Come on, you
I'm
did,
a
of
homer,
course.
but no, not quite. I don't think so. You have to go look back at calling your shot. I don't remember
Yeah.
who I
let's,
picked to win not the T-Wolves. They're still 1 or 2 years away. I wouldn't have picked. I wouldn't
we
have
have
picked
to go
them.
back to the sheet of integrity. What's
I'm pretty sure I have a faint memory of that too.
I'll
Oh
check it
my
out. I'll
goodness.
check
I
the
know
sheet
who I
right now.
picked. I know who I picked. I picked.
I
the
know who
Lakers.
I
I was
picked.
way off.
I'm still
Lakers.
good.
Cheapers.
Oh
I can't
man.
believe
How-
the
we're-
Lakers don't even make the playoffs with that team. It's just absolutely mind-boggling to me.
I'm sorry, but I loved it. I
Oh,
loved
yeah,
every
I
minute
loved
of
it.
the fact that they didn't
I
make it.
loved it too. I loved it too. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
how could you not win with that lineup?
No kidding.
It's ridiculous.
I've got the sheet of integrity in front of me. So on episode 42, so 10 episodes ago, Jeremy, Matt, and Ryan all said Phoenix. Don said the
Oh.
Lakers.
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh, okay. All right.
So and we all said they would make the playoffs. So we all are in pretty good shape except for Don yet on the NBA champ part. So just a bit outside.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. So, LeBron being, from Akron area, Cleveland area, there's still a lot of people that, are really close to him. Some people either hate him or love him. But there's some people that still love him and stuck up for him. So I walked, I walked up and said, "Hey guys, when was the last time you saw LeBron?" And they're kind of all quiet. I said, I just saw him. He's on the side of a milk carton. They weren't real thrilled with that. He hadn't been seen in a while.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he ends up.
that was an entertaining T-Wolves series.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have won that, obviously, but they were obviously. I just feel like they were the better team the whole series, but they just could not put anything together in the fourth quarter, last 5 minutes specifically to sustain anything.
What do you honestly attribute that to? I mean, as you were watching it, what do you attribute that to? Because I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm thinking, is it the coaching? Is it the play select? Is it the actual players? Because they've got some, yeah. And Ryan, you're right. Maybe it's all mental. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it has to do with that, but I just it just blew my mind as the clock wind down every game. We had Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, two probably unguardable players at that point in time. I think they're just unguardable. You can't put up a good defense against them. Either you're going to get dunked on, or you're going to get a three on thrown on you. And here we have D'Angelo Russell throwing up junk. He was finally benched to find this last game. Thank God, in the last 5 minutes, Finch decided to finally come to his senses and keep McLaughlin out there. But it was just, we just took stupid shots. And then, Karl Anthony Towns, he jacked up stupid shots too. He took like that 3-point shot at the end of the game. I was just like,
Yeah.
did that really just happen? It was
Yeah.
like 1.5 minutes left, and then all of a sudden he's just jacking up some random 3-point shot from half court almost. It was just stupid. I was just like, you guys. And I think, of course, they got some obscure award for an NBA team losing so many games in the series with up more than up double digits in the second half.
Right.
It was just stupid.
Thank you for mentioning that. I was just going to say the whole paradigm in my mind has shifted. I used to think if my team built up a huge lead, it was great. Going forward now, I get scared
Yeah.
with the Timberwolves if they build up, because it's almost like clockwork. We get a 15-point lead, and Memphis is coming back.
Right.
Yeah. Well, look what happened to UNC in the final, NCAA. I mean, there's no reason they should have lost that game, and just chipping away. Here we
Yeah.
come.
And I've been consistent with this, for a while. Again, the biggest Minnesota homer for sure, but they're still 1 or 2 years away. And so, like I said, as painful as it was, and they coulda, shoulda, woulda won it. I think this was very good for them, and I hopefully believe we'll see the fruit of this next year as they are more consistent in the regular season, maybe put themselves in a little bit better position not to be in a playing game. But when it comes down to that fourth quarter and having that lead and be able to protect it, grow it, and not give it away, I think we'll see the growth there. We should see the growth there. We've got the talent. I think we got the right coaching. I don't think they had the experience to deal with it. They had to go through that. So
but Memphis is inexperienced too. I mean, they're as young, if not younger. I would love to trade D'Angelo Russell for Brandon Clark. I feel like every time Memphis missed a shot, Clark was there with a little.
He was, put back.
Yeah, he was coming off. Yeah, his offensive rebounding and his positioning was terrific.
Oh.
All right. No, I texted this to Kenny after game 1 or game 2. This is what I said. I said, this has all the makings of let this team taste the playoffs and learn from the experience kind of playoff series. Let's be honest. That's what the takeaway will be after all is said and done. Let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
After their first loss in the series, this is just what happens.
Good call.
Oh, gotta love Minnesota sports.
That's it. That's it.
Undeniably.
Yeah, but I mean, you take a look at obviously the Vikings got a little bit of excitement with moving, getting a lot of new leadership in. So there's excitement there. The Twins bringing in Correa, some excitement. We're doing fairly well there. The Wild, one of the best teams in the NHL, and the Timber Puppies finally doing something, finally playing past the end of the regular season. It's looking up a little bit.
Yeah, let's hope so. It has been fun watching the Twins. I got season tickets this year. I'm glad I cashed in on that when I did. I feel like they are going to be fun to watch this year, and so far they haven't disappointed. I am a little nervous about Buxton. I feel like we have to handle him with kid gloves. I feel like every time he gets hurt, we got to set him down. We can't play him too much because we don't want him to get hurt. And we're coming into a home stadium with artificial turf. We better not put him out there and let him he can run the bases, but just don't put him out on the field. It's just ridiculous. I feel like let's just trade the guy and get it over with. I'm kind of I can't believe
no way.
I'm kind of with Don on this one.
No.
I'm there, and I will add this: if we can either trade Buxton or somehow make sure he's healthy and bench Sano for any other offensive player, I think we're in good shape this year.
Well, that's the thing with Sano. We have to put him out there in order to generate any type of tradability.
And he just keeps going downhill.
He keeps going down. He's got no tradability market right now, so we got to put him out there in the hopes that he strings together a couple of games and then we can trade him.
Oh man,
I'm telling you,
so.
End of July, early
that's what they're
August, he'll have an 8-game stretch. That's it. But he's injured too. But Buxton gets hit by so many pitches because they pitch him fairly aggressively too. That's why he sat out. That was not today's game, but Saturday's game, because he had a contusion on the hand for getting hit. Like in that other, remember, was it last year he was out for some time because he fractured a finger or broke a finger or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So I get it. Out in the field, he's got to calm it down, but he's got to stop getting hit by pitches too.
So Don, what is your season ticket, thing look like? I mean, is it every home game that you got, or did you buy a different?
So yeah, me and Bobby Lundquist and some other guys went in on tickets, and so we got all the home games, and we did a draft for all the games we want.
Oh wow.
And so we split it up,
Okay, so you personally don't have the whole thing. I don't
personally have them all.
Oh, I was surprised. I was like, oh my goodness, Don, this is a commitment.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe next year this will have to be. I can see maybe the 40 game package. I don't know about the 80 game package.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot, but Yeah, because half of these games you don't want to go to in the
Is it a
April and-
is it a two ticket or four
yeah,
four
2
tickets?
tickets, 2
Okay,
tickets.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And it's so slick now. I mean, the way they do it, you can trade your tickets in for a different game. If you just can't make that game, then you can trade it in for another game, or trade 4 tickets in your pet that you have, and bring your whole family to one. So
Hmm.
So driveway to parking lot from your home to the field. What are we talking time wise?
half hour.
Oh my goodness,
Don't you have like a train or a tram? Don't they have that up and running yet?
Yeah,
Jump
I'm
on
not-
up in
I'm
Brooklyn
not-
Park,
I'm not
man, on the
I'm not
ritzy
crazy.
area.
I want to
What are you
live.
talking
to the
about?
next- live to the next day.
Every time I fly into Minneapolis, man, from down, I take it from the airport all the way up to downtown. My dad picks
Oh,
me up
man.
downtown. It's perfect.
No, there's no way I'm taking that train. That downtown
Aw.
is a cesspool. You're just lucky to go downtown. I mean, literally, Jen and I were walking back from the game on, what was it, last Saturday, and pot smell. It was just awful. I mean, it was at 6 o'clock. It was 6 o'clock, and you could just see it. It was just starting to shift. You could
The
feel the whole thing
plume.
starting to shift down there at night.
Hmm.
It was just awful. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, those night games are going to be tough. And that was the same night. It was the same night that the T-Wolves game. They had a
Mm.
9 o'clock T-Wolves game for whatever reason. I don't know why they scheduled at 9 o'clock. Probably the TV schedule thing or something.
Yeah.
Like that. But they had a
Yeah.
9 p.m. T-Wolves game.
Wow.
And the Twins game got over at 6. So all these people were pouring in for the T-Wolves. And I was just praying over every one of them as I passed by them, praying they make it home, because I would not want to be leaving the Target Center at midnight.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That sounds scary to me, but yeah.
Well, that's nice. I mean, for me to get down to American, well, I know it as Miller Park, but American Family, I think they just renamed it. It's an hour and 15 minutes, and I just that's hard
Yeah,
to
that's
hard to
tough.
make.
That's a tough
So-
slot out. It's sweet when you have season tickets. You get your own gate. There's like 2 gates that they let you in. Not like there's a massive people you have to wait in line to get in, but it's nice to zip in with
Yeah,
with
right.
your season
You know
ticket
where you're
pass.
going. It's
Yeah, you get your season ticket pass. Boom, you get 20% off all the food and apparel.
Oh,
Oh man, it's nice. I love it.
man.
I'm just like, oh, this is great. I don't think I can turn back now. They got me. They've got me.
the hook. Man,
So
that's good. That's good. Well, I know this might be not the best time to put this, but since we're talking baseball, one of the things that we were going to talk about is calling your shot with baseball in the World Series. So let's throw it in now, just because the fact we're talking about it. Last year, I remember that I picked a team. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I picked the A's to win the World Series, which was the worst pick possible. And so
Outside of
I'm
mine,
curious.
outside of my pick.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up, but let's do calling your shot. Let's throw out there who's going to win it this year, and let's chart it down. So Ryan, you got to have your little sheet out there and take us all down. And to start with, let's go with Ryan, and then Matt, and then Don, and then I'll finish up. So Ryan, I know you follow baseball a lot. It's one of your passions. As you look at the entire major league, what team stands out? You probably have a couple, but what team right now do you think is going to make it all the way?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to pick the same team I picked last year. Unfortunately, they let me down, but I'm going to pick the Dodgers once again. I don't know if that's wise or not. And Jeremy, I'm sorry, I'm kind of pausing here a little bit because I did go back and look at your pick, and you didn't give yourself enough credit. You actually picked the White Sox, who had a better year than the A's.
What?
So
I picked the White Sox?
yeah, I've got you down for the White Sox last year. They were a much better team, at least from what I remember.
I must have switched that right on the podcast, because up until that night, I had the A's as my maybe that was 2 years ago.
Well, Jeremy,
I don't
remember who's keeping the sheet of integrity. So things
That's
probably
true.
switch on that every
Well, and-
month. So
In my memory on this one's probably not the greatest because I don't follow baseball a whole as much as you guys do. But yeah, White Sox. Okay, all right.
You probably mentioned the A's.
Maybe that's what
yeah.
I did because I do remember now. Now that you mentioned that, I think I do remember switching right then. It was between those two. So
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go with the Dodgers once again. I don't know who their closer is, but I know they've still got a really good rotation. Even though one of the reasons I picked them last year because they picked up Trevor Bauer and he's had some off the field issues. Don.
That's ridiculous.
he's gonna
Oh,
he's gonna
He's
be
out-
off the field for a while, isn't he?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's gonna be a couple years since we
2
see Trevor
years
Bauer.
That guy got suspended for.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I don't know. I guess. Okay. Yeah, that's a whole other story. That's a whole other tangent.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm-
the ins and outs of it, but
yeah, right.
so I don't know their closer, but it looks like Kershaw's back to form. He's pitching really well. And then they picked up, I think he was the MVP last year, Freddie Freeman. If not, he's a great player.
from Atlanta, right?
From
He came over
Atlanta,
From
yep.
Atlanta.
Yep. And they've also got Trey Turner. So they're just stacked all over the place. So I think I'm gonna stick with the Dodgers again this year.
All right. Dodgers it is for Ryan. Matt, how about you?
Well, I'm gonna.
Do we even have to ask? I mean, is
No,
this...
you do. You do.
Oh,
you do.
okay.
You do. Yeah. So I love the Twins. I love the way they're starting. I think the pickup of Correa was great. So Falvey and Levine doing some things. Owners still showing they can open up the pocketbooks, but I don't trust that bullpen at all. I think we bring out some nice starting pitchers. Once our bats heat up, they can get it going, but you need pitching, especially down the stretch. You're gonna have some tight games, and
Yeah,
who you're bringing
September,
into the bullpen, I don't trust. So I think they're some of the Timberwolves. I think they're kind of a year away, and I think they'll show well. They'll do decent in the playoffs. They'll finally break that 17 or 18 game playoff losing streak, which is nuts. We'll get that elephant off our back, but I don't think we're going to win it. I hate to say it, but it's the team I probably hate the most. It's I'm gonna call the New York Yankees are going to win.
Wow. I didn't think you were going to go there, but
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just I think it's been too long for a team like that. I think they put some pieces in place. I think this is the year they get there, and I think they will beat the Dodgers. I think they'll meet the Dodgers in the World Series, and I'm predicting them to beat the Dodgers in the World Series.
wouldn't that be great? All right.
Twins are next year. I'll put my pick in now. The Twins will win the World Series next year.
Sorry, that's not on the agenda.
Just put it in the sheet of integrity right now. Note 2023 season. Matt picks the Twins.
Done. All right. Don, how about you?
Well, I like Ryan's safety pick of the Dodgers. I think that lineup is unbeatable. But I saw a couple games. They came in for a 2-game stint here against Minnesota. It looked like a JV team playing against the varsity team.
Oh boy.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that lineup with Freeman and Betts, and it's just it's stacked, like Ryan said. But I'm gonna go with the another team that I've been enjoying watching lately. It's the Toronto Blue Jays. I think they've got a lot of they're a lot of fun to watch. They got Vlad Jr. just pounding the ball left all parts of the field. It's just he's a special player. He's fun to watch, and I'm gonna pick them.
Wow, I didn't think anybody was going to pick them. That was my pick too, Don. You took my pick. I was like sitting here going, nobody's picking the Blue Jays. Don does. Well, Don, you got a second vote there. I agree. I was watching some of the highlights of them, and they are kind of a fun team to watch. They're exciting, and they've got a lot of good pieces in a lot of areas. It's not just one particular thing. Like I think the Twins, struggle with and to have a full thing. You're talking about the Dodgers. I think they're well-rounded as well. There's probably going to be a surprising team that comes out of nowhere, like usually happens, and really that's kind of the fun of baseball, especially in September. And when we get there, late in the fall, and then all of a sudden one team gets hot and you're like, where did they come from? And that's kind of fun too, to watch some of the Cinderella stories or, just the no name, people that make their name. And so 2 Jays, we got the Yankees and we got the old Dodgers. So Ryan, there you go. Set them all down.
Yeah, I got them all down, and I've got to say, this is the most consensus we've had because, truth be told, the other 2 teams you all mentioned were in consideration for me too with Toronto, because Don knows I'm a big Vladimir Guerrero
Right.
junior, senior fan.
Right.
And with the Yankees, Anthony Rizzo hits a home run about every game. And he's in addition to Judge and Stanton, and it's just
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, but in New York, you got to hit it like 175 feet to right field.
Yeah,
It's so
pop
like
up
a
to right
pop
field.
fly to short right in most fields is like, it's a homer.
Yeah.
That goofy New York Yankees announcer,
Oh.
the Rizzo, the Rizzonator. He's such a goner.
Sterling is the man, man.
Well, he is, yeah, but it's just so annoying. That whole club is just straight annoying. It's it's frustrating.
Elena has some teachers that are Yankees fans, and she can't stand them, of course, and she rips on them all the time. It calls their home field a little league park.
Oh, nice.
True, very
Nice.
true.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, it's hilarious. You're going, but she has, and I'm telling you this, it's hard to watch her with Correa, because how much she hates Houston and the Astros and all the cheating scandal. And I have to agree with her, man. It's hard to swallow that he's on our team. But oh man, it's so nice watching him.
Hey man, everybody, seriously,
No
everybody deserves
kidding.
a second chance. Everybody
Yeah.
deserves a second chance. He's turning over a new leaf.
Oh,
So I'm curious. She's not a fan of his.
no, she was
and
very
she-
upset when we
And
got him.
but so what is the temperature like when she's seen him in a Twins uni?
Yeah, it's hot and cold. It's like it's always nice when he's playing. And we were talking about it today, actually watching him play shortstop. And then I was like, well, remember last year we had Simmons last year there. I'm like, who would you rather have? And she's like, yeah, I mean, well, Simmons was a stud on defense, but he couldn't hit as well as Correa.
Right.
So,
Right.
so yeah, it's like it's a battle.
Give
It's
her
a
another
battle.
month.
I-
Correa's
I don't-
hitting like
I
330
don't
with
know.
Exactly.
12
That
home
that
runs.
female mind will not let go of that. Not let go of that that issue very, very easily.
Oh, she was loving what Pineda pitches for Detroit, and the Twins knocked him around a little bit. Well,
Yeah.
She loved that. She just thought that was fantastic. She hated Pineda because of when he cheated or whatever.
Oh
He was doping a little.
boy, I like Elena. She is by the book baseball.
Man.
Oh, boy.
That's great.
And the Brewers catcher got booted for 80 games too because of that. Did you hear
Oh.
about that?
Wow.
No, I didn't.
Who's their catcher?
Who was their catcher? Doggone it. What is his name? I can't remember his name, but anyway, he gets to almost the start of the season, and they take a drug test, and he comes back positive for some substance, a banned substance. He goes on record and tells people that it's because he was trying to conceive, and so it had something to do with that. And anyway, it blew up, and it was like, what are you talking about?
He's trying to get pregnant.
No, he's trying to, conceive. He's trying to figure out, it was because he was trying to have children. And so it was his side of it, right? And
His side of
was-
it. Okay.
there was
Got it.
a banned substance in that whatever, drug that he was taking or whatever.
Oh,
So he
Interesting.
used that as the the veil, and I don't think too many around here bought that. So
Wow.
anyway,
is it Manny Pena, or is that a few years
Oh.
ago?
It was Pedro Severino.
Severino,
That's what it
Oh,
is.
Severino. Okay.
that's it.
Jeremy.
I'm behind the times.
Tell those Brewers guys to go talk to some of the Minnesota, former Minnesota sports folks, because they sell something called the Whizzinator that could really help save you from something like that and get you a full season. Right? Who was that clown for the Vikings that did that?
Running back. What was his name?
Yeah.
I just had it in my head.
Such a
the Whizzinator
goofy
guy.
guy. And he tried to make an excuse for that, but I think he got lit up, and that was the last we ever heard from that guy too.
It's just
I just remember the Whizzinator. That was
when you
fantastic.
start to talk about these things and you just start to make excuses for whatever reason.
Yeah, right. You're trying to cover
just
up what you're
shut
doing.
up.
Right.
Just
You got caught.
you swallow it. You're done. Take your suspension, tuck your head and tail for a while, and then come back.
Ontario Smith.
Unbelievable.
What
That's
it
it.
is.
That's it.
Ontario Smith.
Ontario
What is the name?
Smith.
Boy, haven't thought about that name in many moons.
Clear my
Ugh.
clear my history, my internet history after that.
Oh, oh man.
Ontario.
Oof, man.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward though to this twin season, man. This is so exciting
Mhm.
to watch them. They're so much fun. Buxton, just so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. I mean, a lot of fun around, a lot of excitement around the team here. So a lot of fun with the local 9.
Yeah, I've never been to the field either. I've heard it's just beautiful and just an absolute wonderful place to be.
I
Ryan,
gotta-
Ryan, how often do you get down there, Ryan? Do you-
Not much. I've been there once since I moved. I think just once. Well, with my family, then I went with a friend. So maybe twice since I've been back in Minnesota. But I got to be
Hmm.
honest, I prefer Milwaukee's ballpark. I've been there
that
for
right?
both the indoor game and then when they opened the roof.
Yeah,
I
it's-
think I like Miller Field or whatever you called it earlier in the show.
Yeah, it's American Family now. It used to be Miller Ballpark, but
Okay.
yeah, it's a nice.
They never
venue,
opened
that's
the
for
roof
sure.
though. That's the thing. It's like
Hmm.
with those retractable roofs, they never open them. It seems like I've been a
Oh.
few Miller Park games.
Okay.
And I've never been to one where it was open.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I've been to 3 and all 3 have been open, but they're,
Really?
they're
Okay.
towards the summer, it's
Yeah.
not, right now when everybody is, got the baseball fever because it's just coming in opening day type things. I mean, opening day, it snowed, I mean, it was like they had everything shut. They've had everything shut because the wind and everything else. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it worked out really well for us. It was when Eves and we took a trip out there back probably around 2000. The Expos were in town. So we got to sit down the right field line indoors on Friday night and then outdoors in the left field bleacher on Saturday. So it was really, you had different vantage points. And of course, just being that close to Vladimir Sr. Was a great joy for me. So
well, when Eves comes for his conference sometime in the summer, maybe we should try to see if there's a game that we can all get out to and hang out in the Miller Park.
Yeah, that'd be
It'd be
cool.
fun.
Yeah, I've not been to Miller Park. That's one of the ones I should have been to, but to look for an opportunity maybe.
So I'm hearing, Ryan, that the possible when the ML League has an expansion, next 2 teams up might be Montreal. What are your thoughts?
really, they might expand back into Montreal.
I think that's
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've heard that rumor.
Well, I'm a pretty loyal fan, and I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to be the Expos franchise. And right now, I'm with the Twins, so I'm probably going to stick with the Twins
Technically, who are the Expos?
Yeah, that's what my
right
question is.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
No.
Nationals.
The Nationals? Okay.
Yeah.
really?
So they left Montreal and eventually relocated to Washington D.C. and became the Nationals.
Okay.
Yep. So and at that point, I felt like it's a different team, different brand. When you like a franchise, it's the logo. It's the whole ambiance, the stadium. Even though Olympic Stadium in Montreal wasn't well attended, it was a pretty large facility and not very well attended. But yeah.
I remember seeing the highlights of that stadium. The thing was huge, wasn't it? It was
Oh
just
yeah.
massive
It was.
stadium. Just
You got like
always
one
filled with
one
empty
kid
seats.
in left field like gets every home run ball.
Oh man. There's this guy who did a rap video about the Expos after they moved from Montreal, and it's kind of a cool video. He goes through all the Expos legends, talks about memories with his brother and his dad growing up in the stadium. I've watched it a few times. It's pretty good, but yeah. So all that to say, Don, I don't think I'm going to transfer my allegiance unless the Twins leave, which I don't think they're going to. But
I've
yeah.
heard Tampa Bay in the mix to leave.
to leave. Okay.
Just
Yeah,
because they just can't
yeah.
generate any fans out there. They
Oh.
got that horrible stadium.
Really?
Got
No,
the
it is a
bullpen
terrible
on
stadium.
on the sideline there, right
So
on the
terrible.
foul lines. Old school.
Yeah. Go from Tropicana back to Olympic Stadium. I don't know about that.
Oh man, I'm just
Both
waiting for
dicey.
a catcher to get beaned. Everybody's out there trying to get warm up his
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing about, I don't think this ever happened at Olympic Stadium, but you know, one of the issues with the Trop is how low the ceiling is. So the balls are
Yeah,
constantly hitting
exactly.
these catwalks and
unbelievable. That drives me nuts. Drives me nuts.
what does Elena have to say about that?
Oh, shit. It's a big boy. It's a big boy version of the Little League park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's goofy.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the slanted or the angled at the in center field where you got to run up a slope?
Houston.
I
That's-
just I don't
yeah,
understand that
that's
at
Houston.
all. That is the for me as a center fielder, I'd be fuming hot. Like
That's-
now I got to negotiate the wall and this ramp up to the wall. How dumb
what
is
we're
that?
gonna
Who
trade
comes
Buxton
up with
to.
that? Seriously,
Oh,
That-
man.
that'll be where he gets injured. Watch, hard charge and he hits a ramp, breaks
Better
an
be
ankle.
DH in that game. literally.
Yep. Yep. Keep him out of that field.
Treat him with kid gloves there. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a dumbest decision for a ballpark amenity. It doesn't make any sense. That's like putting like a slope in like one of the corners of a basketball court. Like, what are you doing? Are you looking to injure somebody? I mean, how stupid is that? Just
Well,
dumb.
look at it this way. If we would have had that at Darts Park, Matt or Jeremy and Matt Courts would have maybe been able to figure out survival of the fittest. Who
We
could
would
have
have
got the ball
we
better.
would have navigated better that way. I would have been on my face quick, and it would have looked great for Matt.
Should have put Jeremy. Just put Jeremy in the slant on the slant part.
Just leave
let
me
him
there.
field balls there. And then let
I've
Colt
got like a 15 by 20 spot. That's all
handle
me.
the rest.
Right.
I was just asked today if I ever played baseball, and I was like, I just had to answer. I'm like, yeah. They're like, wait, what? You did win? I'm like, well,
Mhm.
I'm not really proud of this, and definitely didn't make my buddies proud of me. That's for sure. Oh man, that
We're
was so-
proud of you, man.
So embarrassing. Speaking
had-
of,
we had
I
fun.
am gonna go watch Coach Garrison and his team play in a week or so. They've still got a couple games left. They've been crushed with weather and not being able to play some games, and it's just been tough. They did some traveling, so that was good. So they did get some stuff in down south, but he's diehard. He plays as much as he can, but man, it's just freezing outside. I don't know about you, but golf and baseball are just awful to play. They're not enjoyable when it's so cold. And they're not enjoyable to watch either. I mean, it needs to be good, nice weather, except the fall, where it's starting to get cold. But then you got the World Series, right? I mean, you've got the playoffs and everybody's ready to go. It doesn't matter how cold it is.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you got the snow.
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So Ryan, your tennis is not your tennis courts are still too windy to play too, right? I mean, does that mean you're inside with ping pong or what?
I don't have a ping pong table, unfortunately, and I'm going to have my first league tennis match on Tuesday, and it's going to get up to a balmy 50 degrees for the match. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's probably one of the better days we've had in the last week. It was supposed to start last week, the league, but they're between the rain and the wind and the temps, just couldn't do it.
Yeah, my wife is after me to buy a ping pong table, so I'm on Facebook Marketplace like constantly looking for one. And I mean, they're either really, really terrible or really, really good and out of my price range. And so, I gotta keep my eyes open for one. But my sons really want to play ping pong, and I'm like, well, that's one more thing I can beat them in. So yeah, sure, that's worth $100.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
I actually just played ping pong for the first time in a long time at our church about a week and a half ago. I played Mike Zempel. So he's got 3 boys, and I played his middle boy, and it was a good match. I mean, I think they play often, and I was kind of kicking off the rust a little bit. And then so Mike the next week said, I want to play you. And then I beat Mike. So I'm feeling good about my ping pong game. But yeah, if you don't play it, I mean, more than once I'd wind up and swing and I'd completely miss the ball. I'm like, oh, this is brutal. I don't know if it's just timing, rust, vision, probably vision mainly, going blind. So that's cool. But I would like,
LASIK, man, LASIK.
no, I can't. I
You're
asked
not a
my,
candidate.
I asked my ophthalmologist when I finally got in last December. I said, "Hey, I know I've got macular dystrophy. Can I get LASIK?" She's like, "No, you are not a candidate for that." Okay.
Okay, then just do
No.
CBD. You're fine.
Right. Right. I know it'd be fun. I'd like to play some of you goofballs in ping pong for old time's sake one of these
Seriously,
days.
that'd be
That would
great.
be a blast.
Oh, Jeremy, you get a table, then we'll do a reunion in Scotty.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll let you guys know. I hope to get one in short order. So we'll see. We'll see.
Matt, do I remember right when we had some of those ping pong tournaments back at Pilly? Did you and I play in the final one year, and then did Nate Johnson beat you the next year, and I played him in the finals? I can't remember.
Yeah, Nate played. Yeah, he played a role. I think that there might have been an upset there. Yeah, it's not one of my finer moments for sure. Losing to Jan Yanner. I love you, Yanner, but losing to you in ping pong, pal, wasn't something I could afford to do, but I did.
So,
It's like Giannis losing to me in a layup contest.
Yanner. I'm sorry to bring that up, but for some reason it just popped into my mind. I'm like, I feel like I beat Matt one year, and then I played Yanner another year or so.
Yeah, I do recall that. I think that is probably accurate.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Don, what else you got on your mind these days? I know it's been a month and you're keeping an eye on world events. You've got to have some other things on your mind.
Oh, I got some more stuff here. So, funny you should ask. I attended a what is it? You ever heard of Jan Merkel, right? She's the
Mhm.
what's that? What's what's that ministry she has? Vine. Shoot, I can't remember what that ministry is. That radio minister she has. But she keeps a tab on all the end
Mhm.
time stuff and
Yeah.
she had a little conference or a little evening event at a church just down the road from me, so I decided to check it out. And it was interesting because they had a guy come up from California. He was talking about the Great Reset, and Jan Merkel is a firm believer that the Great Reset is the beginning of the tribulation. Now they are all Jan Merkel and all her peeps are pre-trip. So, they're all about the we'll be taken up before this is all gets, but it has to be set up. It's got to start somewhere, start somehow. Um, and so it was a really interesting conversation. They talked about cryptocurrency and things like that. Whereas, is that the next? And they're talking about how the digital dollar that Biden is pushing now. Basically, they're taking what cryptocurrency is and trying to convert it into their own type of currency so that they can use that technology and hijacking it and use it for their own good. Will cryptocurrency be around? I'm kind of skeptical on cryptocurrency all of a sudden. I don't know. I'm like, do I sell my crypto now? Do I sell my Doge and my Bitcoin and my Ethernet or Ethereum and all that stuff? So I don't know. I'm kind of in a quandary here. I don't know what to do with this stuff here, but is it time to unload it? And then I saw something, and this is kind of goes into your world, Matt, and maybe you can help share some things on this. But there have been a lot of cyber attacks on America's food supply. Have you guys been hearing about this? There's a lot of cyber attacks on and I don't, and I take this back. Let me step back a second. I don't know if they're necessarily on go hand in hand with the cyber attack, but there have been at least 18 incidents where food supply, processing plants have gone up in flames. And Matt, I know you had one earlier, and usually by this time of year, usually they say like maybe 12 or less a year this happens, just because right accidents are going to happen, things are going to go up. They've already had 18 this year, and I think Ryan, your pal Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, he he even went as far as to say there would be a cyber pandemic of sorts that would go after food supply, the food supply chain and things like that, and how we're seeing inflation, all this stuff happening, and now we've got food supply chains. What are your guys' thoughts on? I don't know, Matt. Maybe you could tell us more about. I don't know if you can speak what you can speak to, but didn't you have where your company had a factory go down because of a fire or something like that?
There was a fire at one of our establishments, one of our factories. Did not take the whole thing down.
Okay.
Was a very significant loss. So yeah, it was really unfortunate. I have heard seeing the number of, whether it's fires or even like, small planes, you know,
Yeah.
crashing into these places, and it is interesting to sit back. I don't know that it's it's all coordinated or anything like that,
Right.
but
Right.
it is interesting from a food side. Obviously with the whole Russia Ukraine thing, and then what I guess for me, I've not looked into it too deeply, but what is to be gained by hamstringing our food supply here in our country, considering we're already getting pressured from what other countries are not able to import, specifically grain, I think, and fertilizer too, to a certain extent. But I think grain was a big one from Ukraine and Russia. What if you're going to be a conspiracy theorist like on this, like what's to gain from that? Is somebody just going to rise up and be a monopoly on it? I don't understand what it brings if they're hurting the food supply chain in the United States.
I don't know. I do know this anecdotally, but there is a huge, huge problem with the swine flu. And the reason I'm in tune to that as far as food is concerned is just because of chickens. I raise chickens, and like 12 different chicken and poultry farms have had to basically bury. One farm was like 2 million or 1 million birds, and they just had to dig open graves in a field and just put them all in it. And that's a 6-month turnaround before you get, the chick, or first of all, clean everything out and then put chicks in there and raise them all the way to where they're producing again, is like a half a year. And that is a huge loss. But like farm after farm after farm is going through this, and it's carried around by any bird that's out there, from what I understand. So I've had to watch that kind of thing. But I don't know about you guys. Eggs went from 69 cents, 79 cents to about $4, $3.50, somewhere in that neighborhood. I can sell my eggs for about $6.50 to $7, all the way up to, I've seen them $10 a dozen, if they're free range and if they're non-caged or whatever.
Wow.
It is spite. So I'm actually thankful that I invested when I did in those birds, and I'm hoping that they can actually not only supply us with eggs, which I'm only getting a few for my older birds, but that I can actually help bring the price down. But it's interesting, the price of bird or just their feed has like doubled and is going up again. So if you don't have a way to supplement them, like to range them, free range them and give them some grass and other things just naturally, bugs and other things to eat, your cost is going sky high. And it's no wonder that eggs have just doubled, tripled, quadrupled in price. I mean, they're just jumping all over the place, and they're can continue to do that. I think they're going to go up even further and hold probably around the $4 range for about 6 months. And then depending on, some other food chain type things, if it calms down and the war in Ukraine kind of calms down maybe a little bit, we get some stability in the stock market, other things, maybe that will help bring things down. But just like car prices and other things, commodities are going up, and they're saying it's going to stay up there. It's going to stay up. And I don't know who they is. I wish I could really say definitively who that is, but just listening to experts around here, the ag report and other people, they're saying everything is going up, and it's just, there's no way to bring it down because everything is up. For farmers to take their margins, they have to sell it at those prices. Otherwise, they're turning their farms around. Another thing, not to further your conspiracy theories, but here's something else that I find very interesting, is that if you look for public records of who is buying land, farmland in America, Don, it's tied to the Great Reset. And I just happened to come upon the Wisconsin Daily News, which I had no idea about, or Wisconsin Christian News, excuse me. Like one of their feature articles last month was about the Great Reset, and they're talking about all of this. Like they're asking for open records to find out where these farms are being sold to and who's buying them. And the government is all of a sudden shut the door to open records. You can't get that information. And then the government has these subsidy programs that they're paying these huge, huge sums of money to. We're talking millions of dollars to somebody who is not even on the farm, but has, quote, ownership in the farm. Somehow they bring some type of expertise, whether that's, PR or something. But it's a way for, I believe, our government really to be in cahoots with some of this stuff, and maybe not necessarily to cover it up, but be a part of shifting our land ownership right out from under the US farmer right to foreign nations. It is disgusting to me. It is absolutely despicable. You wonder why people can't buy land anymore and why the price is so high. It's because other nations have the deep pocketbooks and they've got US by the throat. They're buying it all. They're running it under US farmers, quote unquote, but they've got the ownership. You talk about infiltrating from every angle. What more do we need to get shut down than to have somebody else controlling our land and food supply?
So
And destroy. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, no. So going back to Matt's question, what do they have to gain? What is there to gain in rising in making our commodities rise in price and buying up all this farmland and all that stuff? What do you think is the gain?
I don't know that it's so much to gain. I think it goes to your first question or your first thought of I believe that things are positioning themselves and times wise that because of all the prices, because of all these things, because of all the weight and that families are going to have to bear, that they're having to pay, exorbitant prices. I filled my van up $105 to fill it up from not even empty, $105. And I'm like, we can't be traveling this summer. We're not going to go to Ohio. We're not going to go places. I don't want to travel a whole lot anywhere. I'm looking for a free swimming pool so that we can get our kids wet instead of driving to the lake once in a while. It's just things like that. And it's just going to keep ratcheting up. Where is the end? I don't know that we're going to find that again. I don't think we're going to find that, 99-cent gas again. I do think, Don, that there is something to the fact that this is all kind of just slowly cinching in, and we may find some easier times. We may find a little mellow out, but that the noose is getting tighter. It has to be.
Mhm.
I don't know that there's something to gain. I think Satan and the evil one and all of his armies are seizing their day here on this earth. They're not going to win, of course, they're not going to win. I see it as well. I see more and more signs. I think we're nearing the end. I really do.
Yeah, I think I've heard it explained, or in some ways explained, on what they have to gain. It is by they have to bring America down,
right,
to the right now America's way up here and everybody else is way down here,
right,
as far as economy, as far as profitability and things and things like that. So they have to bring America down in order for everyone to be on the same playing field, in order to incorporate what they say is, considering maybe the Great Reset. I mean, they have to bring America down. They have to knock it down in order, instead of bringing everybody up, which of course is impossible to do. They're going to knock the one country that has it all down. I mean, independency on energy and right now the gold standard. I mean, the U.S. dollar is the default currency. I mean, so they've got to bring that down, and they've got to knock that out in order for everybody to be on the same level. And so, go ahead.
And what's so crazy is you'd expect other countries to do that, right? So if you're not in first place, you're striving to get to first place, and you'll probably use nefarious means to get there. What is so concerning and appalling is the fact that it appears and very likely is that leadership is complicit, if not like helping to lead it, looking to get, monetary gain or whatever. Like they're not only like so incompetent that they're not seeing what happens, they are actually assisting in that. And that's actually part of the plan. And like this greater good, this is what we have to do. It's like we are so backwards and upside down, like I said, the right is wrong and wrong is right. I've never seen it as clear as I have now, where that is just the case. It's nuts. It's nuts.
And that's what we talked about in our last podcast. I think when we mentioned, we showed that, or we talked about that clip that Biden said a new world order is coming. We have to, we got to be we got to be the ones leading it. Well, they got that guy whoever has that guy in their back pocket is, I mean, he's getting played because they want him to think that he's leading it. He's not leading it. He's just a tool in their toolbox to be able to manipulate. One more thing I want to talk about too is this whole Elon Musk thing, and what I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. What Elon Musk buying Twitter? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I think it's the wild card that the left did not see at all coming.
Okay, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard everything from, and I've read everything from, this is a conspiracy and he's part of the whole shebang, to legitimate. I want free speech, and so I'm going to just, because I can, and I have $44 billion or whatever in my pocketbook that I can do this, gonna do it. To be honest with you, I don't know. I have no idea. And anyway, I'll leave it at that. I have no clue. I don't know. I think it's great. If he can buy it, fantastic. I'm not a Twitter user, so, if it brings back free speech, fine, but I'm indifferent.
Ryan, go.
I'm all for it. He said that, what did he say? 10% on each side of the aisle is not going to be happy, whatever that means. But it sounds like he's a big free speech guy, and I know he appreciates the Babylon Bee. So if that's the case, I'm on board with him.
Yeah, it's been hilarious to watch. No doubt about it. But I'm just a little skeptical, just again, because that's who I am. And I'm a little skeptical because if we're keeping score at home here, this guy now controls Twitter. He also now controls Starlink. Have you guys familiar with Starlink?
Yeah,
that's the whole internet, throwing satellites up into the under just near orbit or whatever that is, so that we can all access the internet. How much of a shift in power is this guy trying to plan here? He is gaining a lot. He is controlling information, right? We all know information is power. I mean, think about this. He controls Twitter now, and in years from now, he could control the internet for all we know. I mean, think about that. And it's interesting because we're setting it up for one person to be in charge of everything.
Yeah, and here's my question:
the controls of the switch and the controls. It's being set up so one person could be in control of all of it.
So Don, I think you're right. I've had this thought about Elon Musk because every time I talk, my son is like, "Oh, Elon's awesome. He's brilliant. He's a genius. I wish I could be Elon Musk." Blah 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 blah. Okay, be Elon. I'll name your first son Elon. Whatever. But one thing that I have always asked both my son and anybody who else thinks, who's on the Elon bus is who does he tie himself to? Like, who does he associate with? And what are his roots? I find him nothing. Zero. He is literally out there and he's got his own little empire, which when you look at the Antichrist, and I'm not saying Elon is,
right.
But a person maybe like that who is able to bring all nations and have this overwhelming ability to control them, and they don't even question. It's just like, oh yeah, this guy, he knows what it is. But you're right, he's got that, like, whatever. He's got kind of that, I don't want to say personality, but it's almost like he's got it.
Yeah. And yeah,
To a
I
certain,
agree.
to a certain
I-
degree. Not
I-
not saying
I-
he is the Antichrist,
Right.
but
I agree with you, Jeremy. I don't know if he's the I don't think he's got a little pentagram set up down in his basement.
right.
he's he's got the Ouija board game going crazy with his kids or whatever. I don't know, but it just seems like, man, that's a lot of power we're granting this kid. I mean, not we're granting it, but he's buying up.
Yes.
He's able to. So I thought that was interesting, but yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah,
Curious
but
to
think about, granted, we obviously don't know all his background and stuff, but think about the alternative. I mean, leave it with Jack Dorsey and Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. And I mean, those guys are, they are, out in right field, like as far as you can get. So, and I don't know if you guys saw this, Elon put a put a like a political diagram up over, kind of identifying his position, over the
Saw that.
last like
Yeah.
I don't know, 12 years or whatever. I think back in 2008 he would, much more closer to the left, and through the course of time he's moved, he shows the left going way left, which is obviously extremely true, and the right coming a little bit more to the left too, but he's, showing him to be a bit more conservative. And the fact that what he's championing right now, free speech, or trying to get back to that, and again, I think that's a good thing. I don't think we should take everything that he says as gospel, but I guess, Don, how do you correlate, what Elon's doing with what the Department of Homeland Security is doing with this Truth and Governance Board, that Mayorkas?
Yeah.
What a gone administration we have. They
Oh,
are
my
they have
word.
no idea what anyone's doing. But what's your take on that?
You mean what Obama's doing? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, let's
Little
not say
puppeteering?
Biden.
Well, it was no coincidence that all of a sudden pops up as soon as they get word that Elon Musk is buying Twitter. Come on, I mean it's just too quick.
3 days after, yeah.
3
It's
days after.
nuts.
Oh well, look, guess what? We've been thinking about doing this little committee we got. Yeah, it's just it's a play on for the government to further their control on free speech, and they know they lost it when Elon Musk went in to buy Twitter. So this is their attempt to gain back some power.
For me, that's a scary
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And now they're trying to backtrack and say, well, no, this is all about other nations. Yeah, you goners, you used other nations to talk with the Russia collusion hoax. You guys love this stuff. This is right up your alley. It is
I know.
it's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
didn't they write the rule book? I mean, didn't they write this playbook? Come on.
They rewrite it whatever's convenient for them. It is. It's that Orwell's book, that 1984.
1984, yeah.
It is wild. Like I you sit back and say, and the person they chose to run it,
Oh man.
you can't make this up, man. She's like, oh, that's a Trump made up thing, that Biden's son's laptop thing. That's all like, she's disinformation, and she's leading this thing, and she's making decisions on that. Why not just allow people to share their thoughts and have a forum? Like, back in the day where you'd come to the town hall and you'd be able to share that stuff and interact. And yeah, we might not agree on everything, but boy, to shut this stuff down and, call these things hate speech. And it's just, no one wants to think anymore. They want to tell and control, tell you what to think and control what information you're able to input that would influence your thinking. And that's extremely scary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's scary. It is scary.
Wow.
So
Really
Don,
does.
after thinking about all this, are you, digging another bunker? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing with all this info?
Well, I seriously want to look into buying land. I mean, I want to divert some of my portfolio out of stocks and try to put more into gold and stuff like that. But I would seriously want to get more land. I mean, it seems like that's the safest thing right now. But again, it's incredibly expensive. What do you do?
Yeah, right. So get this. Okay. So when I moved out to the place I live, we're out of town a little bit. There's 29 acres about a mile down the road. It's just a farm field, right? And the farmers that are around us own huge conglomerate farms. They have like 3,000 cows. They need places to put their manure. and it just makes every sense in the world that one of them would turn around, and this is pennies to them. You know, they want almost $300,000 for this piece of land. It's 29 acres. It's like, what in the world? So I told Amber, I'm like, you know what? If I had the money, I would actually buy that, even at the exorbitant price.
Right, right.
I would buy that land. And she's like, you're crazy. And I said, no, I'm not crazy, because if you have something that somebody really wants in a desperate situation, that's going to be peanuts to them as far as money is concerned, because when they want control and they know you've got more asset as far as ground, dirt, I'm talking dirt, they're probably going to think a little bit twice about who you are and what you're doing. And, you know, it might bring some scrutiny too, but anyway, it's just amazing to me. So I'm with you, Don. I am. Let's build a land trust. Let's throw our
Yeah.
bucks into it. Let's buy some dirt.
I hear you. That's why I'm kind of shying away from crypto, because it's non-tangible. You know, you can't hold it. Anything
Yeah,
you can hold.
exactly.
That's what you got. I feel like you have to invest in. And, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll be investing in some art. I don't know. You know, I mean, it's
Don, why don't you offer Jeremy all of your Doge for all of his chickens? Maybe that'll kind of reconcile our relationship.
Hey, I still look and watch my Doge every day.
Last I
Doge-
looked, it wasn't doing too well.
No,
it was down to 12 cents. You
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
what I saw.
did you buy it at 5?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I think you
Oh,
bought it at
not
like
ex-
25, 35.
Not exactly. Got a big minus sign on that still.
We
In
were
my
riding-
old
we were
Robin
riding to the
Hood
moon when you
account.
jumped- We were
Yeah.
halfway to the moon when you jumped down that thing.
Sheesh, man, I
Word.
should have got out at 71 cents speaking of Elon, when he right
Did it go
before
up that high?
SNL. Yeah,
Yeah,
71
it
cents.
was-
Oh, you
Yeah.
guys could have sold at 71 and it's down to 12.
Yeah, I sold all mine when I
Chicken
about
on.
broke even. So I got no more Doge. I'm not a Doge guy no more.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
I
Yeah,
I just keep my shares because I love just saying Doge so much.
I know it's a
Makes
cool
me
word.
it at least makes me feel good.
It does. Yeah, I'm kind of with Matt as far as Elon goes. I know Don was joking around about my buddy Klaus Schwab, and you know, if he were controlling Twitter, I'd have a lot more concern. I don't have that concern with Elon. I think he's more into being an entrepreneur and a pioneer, and I do think he understands coming from South Africa to America. He's one of those folks who comes in and realizes, you know, free speech is so essential. I want to believe that. Maybe I'm just gullible, but I think this is probably good, and it's gonna.
My pastor said the other day, that guy is the ugliest man alive. I was like, what? I'm like,
Elon?
hey, yeah, he was like, you just punched him in the face with this comment. I was like, oh man, that's pretty rough. I'm like, I don't care if I'd look like that and have his wealth. That I'd try that out. I wouldn't mind that.
Did you guys see that that conference thing he had? When they opened up that new plant in Texas. If you YouTube it, it was a couple weeks ago, but they did some crazy stuff with those drones outside in the middle of the night, and they were like doing all these formations with the light. It was a light show with these drones, and it looked like it was part of another world. I'm serious. It looked
Really?
amazing.
So what do you
Yeah,
look
check
up,
it
like
out.
Elon
YouTube-
Musk,
Elon
Texas?
Musk, yeah, Texas plant opening or something like that. And
Okay.
yeah, he introduces their new truck they're rolling out next year. It's going to be
You'll probably also see the
something out of Space
footprint of
Invaders.
their
It's
new
really good.
corporate headquarters of Twitter too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
That guy that offered him 100 acres, come over to Texas.
I'm telling you, he's
Crazy.
gonna turn the San Francisco office into a homeless shelter, which I was out in San Francisco back when I went to California after
Yeah.
Florida, and there was a lot of homeless people in California. It was pretty sad, pretty sad to see that. So
Yeah, that is sad. Hey, quick question. I just happened to read an article today. I don't generally read the New York Times, but I did. It was a link I came across, and the writer was making the case. Of course, you probably have seen the media piling on lately against Ron DeSantis for obvious reasons, but um, making the case that, hey, conservatives, you're not conservative anymore if you're using government to go after business. You used to be a friend of business. And with what DeSantis has done with Disney lately, they're now turning it around like, hey, you were known as a business friendly party. And what's going on now, led by Ron DeSantis. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. I mean, mine off the top of my head is I don't think it was an anti-business attack as much as it was, hey, you've had special privileges at Disney, and if you're going to get involved bringing your West Coast politics to Florida, you're not going to have privileges anymore. I mean, is that how you all are understanding it?
Basically say this is not a one-way street, it's a two-way street, and we'll fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
So it does, you don't just get to dictate what you want to do because you're way left leaning. When somebody plays you at your own game, maybe you see how tricked out your game was to begin with, and you got no place to be questioning or calling the kettle black. You know, that's you've done the same thing and you continue to do the same thing. So that's why DeSantis is my homie.
Yeah, Ryan, I know you like him. What was your thought? I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, I want to be somebody who can read an article from anywhere and analyze what's true and what's not true. And I agree with Matt that this is something they've done to the right, but so many things over the last several years seem to be shifting, you know? And I think I just, what I shared earlier about how I viewed what he's done with Disney, I don't think it matches the criteria they're talking about, almost being an enemy of business. They're just saying you're going to get, that's why churches don't have to pay taxes. They're not supposed to be a political arm, right? So apparently whatever special privileges Disney has had, and I can't enumerate them, but they've just been removed because they've gotten so political against a bill that was passed by the government of Florida. For parents' concerns, parents' rights. So I don't think he's at fault, and I don't think the Republicans are anti-business now because of what happened in Florida.
how long before churches are going to start paying taxes? I don't think that's too far away either.
Well, I was thinking that 10 years ago, honestly. I remember listening to some John MacArthur messages where he was, I mean, he's had some battles there in California, maybe even with COVID that's come up again lately. But yeah, he's for many years now been saying, yeah, it would be very costly if we had to pay tax on our property here in California.
Oh yeah, that's one way to shut. And to speak about what Don was talking about, you know, it's another way, not even a power grab, it's just to grab. You know, they're grabbing at anything, they're grabbing at everything. There isn't, you know, and yes, there are maybe some special things that they're targeting, but at the same time, you know, it's the hippo marble game. You know, it's like, how many marbles can I get in this play? And if I get none, stink. If I get a bunch, awesome. You know, it just seems like that game to me, and we're the marbles.
So wild to think back what our country was founded on, like where people came from to come here to, you know, we fled that, you know, hey, we want to worship the way we want to worship, and all the wonderful ideas that is our country. And now how it seems like we're reverting back to the countries that we left to form this country, and we can't do it fast enough, or at least that's the more liberal view. And it's just go look at history. How does that work out? Where has it been successful?
know.
Where are you
Well,
serious?
Depends on what history book you're reading, Matt. I mean,
I left my woke one on the bookshelf. Sorry.
Okay, good. So yeah, it's sad truth.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
going back and forth on this wrestling with this question about, you know, what Florida was doing to Disney. And I can see it from both sides. I see it. I mean, I lie I'm in favor of what DeSantis is doing, because Disney definitely, I mean, you stay in your lane, right? I mean, that's the whole idea. You got to stay in your lane. Disney was not staying in its lane. It's now involved in political gain and teaching things to children that they have no business having to deal with in a stinking film they produce.
Right.
But on the other side of things now, you mentioned, how long is it going to take for churches to be taxed? Well, it just takes one left-leaning government to say, you know what, First Baptist Church down the road, we don't like how
time.
you're doing business.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pull the plug on that. I mean, there's two. Like you said, it's two-way street, and pretty soon, I think I don't know. This is is this the beginning of opening a door to something more here?
Well, and hopefully
I'm a
our-
little nervous about that.
Yeah, and hopefully our Supreme Court stays conservative enough that in some of those choices and decisions, when it comes to that they will make the right choice for an extended period of time. And that's just an extended period of time. It's not for all time. It's just for,
Yeah.
what they see is,
Mhm.
And that's right. That's why you've got that balance of government that was set up that way. So, in theory, one side can't get too great, but you've seen even in the craziness of where we're at right now, you've seen the checks and balances work out the way they should have. And we don't necessarily agree with every decision, but that was the vision of our forefathers, is to have that balance out, because they
Right.
didn't all agree either. That's why they set it up. So one couldn't just be the dictator or the controller. Or what was that in the Matrix movie? What was that final guy, the architect? Right? When you were talking about like it's going to be controlled by one person, that's what I thought of that Matrix movie. Like when Neo finally goes and meets the architect, like there's one guy behind the curtain. It's like the Wizard of Oz or something like that. But yeah, it's just it's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy times.
well, Don, you got anything else? Any more bees in your bonnet?
That's all I got. That's all I can take right now.
well, Ryan, I do have one question for you. I've been watching you just down things this whole podcast. I'm wondering how you're doing on the Little Debbie thing, because to me it just seems like you've gained like 4 pounds while we've been talking here.
You're very astute. You're right.
Can
I
you
have been
give us a
eating lot.
little Can you give us a heads up of what's on the menu there?
Mom
I
just,
can.
Mom just sent a care package. He's
Oh
gotta-
boy.
Yeah, and honestly, Don, some of those things were for my mom. I will be honest with you. And
Shocking.
I'm gonna listen. I'm looking ahead to Tuesday, my tennis match, so I felt a little more freedom today. It's not been my healthiest day of eating. I had leftover pizza for lunch, McDonald's for supper, and now this tray of goodies. So it's not been my best day. Okay. I had 4 Oreo double stuffed cookies. I had 3 chocolate wafer treats, and then I had 5 crackers with Swiss cheese on them just now.
Did you also give yourself the insulin shot? I mean, was that part of it?
He just completed his crumble cookie order from Grubhub there. It's on
Yeah.
its way.
What a great cookie that was. Oh man.
Good call.
Yeah.
Don, get him up to a kickboxing class post haste. Like,
Seriously.
go straight north, young man. Oh my
Well,
Lanta.
the funny thing is that guy Ryan still weighs 100 pounds dripping wet.
Yeah,
Seriously.
no, I know.
The guy
I
can
just-
pack away
I-
everything, and he's still not going to gain any weight.
It is unbelievable.
I just can't stand it.
You guys will be proud of me. I have not touched this bag of Hershey's Kisses though. I've got by my desk.
I've not
That's
touched.
good. What's the cholesterol count right now?
You don't know.
Yeah,
I just started taking red yeast rice though. That should help with my cholesterol levels.
What?
You-
Red yeast
Can't wait.
rice?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a pill you take. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah. So not a prescription or anything like that, but
Okay, so Dr.
kind
Z giving you some help there.
it's like a natural statin, put it that way.
Okay.
So I'm sure my cholesterol is dropping by the day.
Ryan, you just perfectly illustrated our current politicians today, or that right, wrong, wrong, right. I am not touching the bag of Hershey Kisses that I am now touching.
Everything else.
Don't believe your lying eyes. Do
Everything.
not believe them at all. I'm not holding what I am holding in my hand.
And did
That's
Pfizer
perfect.
did Pfizer put that red yeast pill out or what? I mean,
That was Kloss.
He's on the Kloss regime. He's on the Kloss protocol.
regimen.
I did see Bill Gates put a book out. Did you guys see that about the next pandemic? And he
What a-
thinks he thinks he asserts in that book, from what I saw online from a video that, one of my YouTube doctors that I watch, he said that Gates believes we've not seen the worst of it, and it could get worse with
The
current
worst of this
pandemic.
current pandemic or
Yeah.
the next one?
This one.
No, he's on absolute.
Oh yeah, he's got
Narcotics.
He's got a lot of money invested in.
Well, he
narcotics.
does have a
That's
lot of
the-
money. Yeah, exactly.
That's why he's hoping for that next.
He's
pandemic.
vested.
Well,
Hey,
He's got to
isn't he
get paid
known?
somehow.
Yeah, he's known as a great scientist, isn't he? Isn't that where he made his money?
jeez.
He's a farmer too. He's invested in a lot
That's
of
true.
farmland as well.
That's a true statement. Good old Gates.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm
I
not a
don't
fan.
That guy is as whack as they come. He is goofy.
One,
Yeah, he ain't ready.
I do have a question. Why are we paying more attention to the Johnny Depp trial than we are the Ghislaine Maxwell trial? Anybody know?
What is Johnny Depp even on trial for? What, I have no
don't know.
clue. I'm not a Hollywood guy.
It's just-
I'm not a movie
He's
guy.
he's so entertaining. And it's, anytime you see dysfunction played out at the highest level, the Hollywood level, and you've got
Everybody watches.
Johnny Depp, who is extremely entertaining.
Sure.
He's and for whatever reason, you're right. It has caught everybody's attention.
I'm like sick and tired of Fox News because everything I'm looking for the Ukraine updates and I get Johnny Depp updates.
Hey,
Come
speaking
on, Fox.
Speaking of Ukraine, here's a dark horse Antichrist selection: Volodymyr Zelensky.
No.
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying dark horse candidate. Look at how the world's come around him. Like, wow, this guy's the man. Who doesn't like Zelensky at this point?
they're coming around him. They're like tiptoeing in his area code. Maybe, there's everybody's real handling him with gentle gloves.
You mean like I handle these
giving
kisses?
Yes. Well, no, not so much. Not so much. Not so much.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know if anybody's come right alongside him. He's
Nobody
he's doing
else wants to mess with Putin face to face. That's the deal.
Seriously.
They want
Seriously.
Ukraine to fight everybody at the world's battle for them.
So is the
So-
Antichrist alive right now today?
No.
Well, based upon my calculations for the rapture, I think so. I think so.
Who do you think he is, Jeremy?
I'm going to say no too, but if I had to count, Ryan's kisses and the fact that there's a few in the bag, maybe.
By the way, I have heard from a trusted professor that he's pretty confident that Jesus died in 33 AD, 33. Okay. So that would then put my rapture guess further ahead to 2026.
2026.
Because I think
Antichrist is
earlier
alive.
I was telling you guys, I think he may have died in 29, which would have upped it to like this year or next year.
Okay, so is this like a new calling your shot, Ryan only?
You
I'm not making a prediction. I'm just trying to see if the Lord likes those 2,000 year increments.
Is your are
So
you
you would say the Antichrist is alive, though.
Yeah, you would have to.
My hunch is that that he's alive. Mhm.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm tempted not to say this. I don't know. I'll probably get struck down with lightning, and I pray I don't. But would it be weird or sacrilegious to have like an Antichrist draft? Like,
Well, Ryan's gonna pop a few kisses after that one. He needs.
like
What's your draft board? I mean,
Yeah,
we're in it.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do it.
That's
Here we
gotta
go.
be-
snake- I mean, we
that-
gotta go snake draft, right?
well, at least a calling your shot. At least a minimum of that. I don't know if you can get a snake draft. I don't know for that intellectual to understand all the, but yeah, that could be a calling your shot. That could be.
It'd be interesting to hear from our listeners who they think is the
I think we
Antichrist.
should have a draft. I think that
I gotta hand it to you, Don. That's a great question. I mean, as much thought as I put into fantasy football plus the rapture calculation, I've never put those two ideas together.
So what I'm guessing is your second edition of your books come out, and probably 2026, 2027, your third edition of your book is coming out. Oh, the professor said, but I had to add
And I'm not
3 years
giving
when I
any,
actually subtracted. So now it's like 2029 and a half. Please buy my third edition. It's brand new. Yeah, okay.
I'm touring with Gates that year.
Yeah.
right?
He's my number one draft pick, man.
He's top of your board.
Gates?
Going
No
one.
way. I'll give you Gates every day. That guy's so unlikable. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's not
Zelensky and
bringing-
Elon
he's
Musk
not
way
bringing
ahead of
anything.
Gates. Yeah.
True.
Gates is 10 times uglier than Musk.
What'll
Speak-
really send people into crazy is if DeSantis makes the board. That's the real thing.
Wow.
Well, I said that for a
No,
reason.
no.
Easy.
Harsh timeout.
Easy. Come on, man.
Yeah, that ain't right.
Hey, I don't believe
Not
it.
right.
I don't believe it. I'm just saying for the cause of, the other side.
All right.
Hey, so speaking of drafts, what are you guys and that Vikings guy doing announcing our draft pick who was talking for like 2 minutes?
I
before
didn't see
you-
this. But
Was
I-
that our
man.
minute?
You didn't
That was
see it?
Minnesota guy.
Yeah,
The
I had
producer
heard they
comes
had
up
to
and
like
has
cut
to get him
someone.
off.
It was Minnesota's. Who
it was Minnesota. It was some guy named Ed something from. He was drafted 50 years ago. This year, 50 years ago, he's a 1972 draft pick. He
Yeah, you
gets up-
forgot that it was in 1950.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else that got up there was like, okay, I'm here representing this great franchise, and their pick is this guy just goes on with his life story. Like, I'm Ed so and so.
Yeah.
And he's just thinking back to some buddies and oh, yeah, back
good
in high
time,
school.
and yeah.
And all of a sudden, this lady comes out. She's the producer.
She's got
pointing
the
at
headset
card.
on. She's like,
Dude, read the
Classic
card.
Minnesota. Right.
Biden, read your cues. It was bad.
You've got to watch it. It is.
Oh.
it is
Oh, that's funny. I got to catch that. And I read about it, but I didn't know it was Minnesota doing goofiness like that.
who else? Who else?
Represent.
Oh man, special.
Oh man.
Well, what do you say we jump into a little competition? I think it's time for T cubed,
You guys up?
Do it.
brother Ryan.
All right. I've definitely got enough food energy to get us through a few questions here. So I've got 3. And this is in honor of May 1st. It is May Day today as we record this podcast.
True.
So happy May Day to you all, to all of our listeners. We're looking forward to a nice month of spring weather, hopefully for everybody. You all ready?
Yeah. What do we
okay.
got? We got
Go.
music. Do we got trivia? What's up first, man? We need some-
I've got two truth questions, and then the third will be tunes.
I read you.
All right, here we go. This book of the Pentateuch contains a famous poem that says, "The Lord bless you and keep you, and his face shine upon you."
Matt.
Matt,
Genesis. What is Genesis?
I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
I'm gonna go Jeremy.
Okay, Jeremy, I think was our last winner. Jeremy,
Yeah.
can you?
What is Deuteronomy?
That is incorrect as well. Don, you have a
What?
You have a 1 in 3 chance here if you want to take a stab at it.
I'm gonna say, what is Exodus?
Incorrect. It's actually Numbers. It's actually the book of Numbers. And what you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with May? Well, every time I hear somebody from the pulpit say it, I always hear them say, "May the Lord bless you." But most of the translations just start with "the Lord bless you." So that's how I got it in my mind as a May type of question. So I apologize. Kind of a tough one, but yeah, I don't think I would have ever gotten Numbers. I've heard it plenty of times, but
We had a 20% shot. I don't think it was too tough.
No.
We at least had a shot. But yeah, a dark horse for sure. Nice.
all right, good. So we'll move on to question 2. This New Testament author said, "May the God of hope fill you all with all joy."
Jeremy.
Jeremy,
What is Paul? Who is Paul?
that is correct. The Apostle Paul in Romans 15 said, "May the God of all hope fill you all with all joy and peace as you trust in him," which is a similar phrase to what we heard in Numbers. So Romans 15, Jeremy on the board with one.
Nice.
Okay.
I was hesitating. I was thinking like, well, he's probably gonna go like a Peter one,
Yep.
like a one. But yeah, Paul, nice job.
Okay, we've got one question left. Don or Matt could force a tiebreaker. If they get this right, this will be a tuned question. And here it is. This song / hymn contains the phrase, "May Jesus Christ
Matt.
be praised." Matt.
What is "May the mind of Christ my Savior"?
Sorry, that is incorrect.
Doggone it. Now
I
you
thought-
got that
I
stupid
thought
hymn
for
running in my mind.
I thought for sure that
Yeah, no, that's all I can think of. Could you repeat the question now?
You
I
bet.
thought for sure it was because May was in the title. Like you throw me for a loop, man. It's May's in the first two, but not in the last one.
Well, okay, here's the question again. Name the song / hymn that contains the phrase, and here's where the word comes in,
Mhm.
"May Jesus Christ be praised."
Yeah, and I just went with I thought May would be in the title too.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. This was song number 1 in the hymnal I grew up in Fairmont.
I can sing it.
Good thing there's only one hymnal in the world.
Don,
Oh, Don for the tiebreaker.
what is blessed assurance? I don't know. I'm thinking of another one.
Incorrect. That assures we've got one of us on a winning streak. Jeremy, do you want to
Sing
take a
it.
stab at it?
Dun, 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 dun,
Yep,
dun,
that's
dun,
it.
dun,
That's
dun,
the
dun,
tune.
dun. May Jesus Christ be.
He's got the
I-
tune. You should get a half a point for the tune. What's the first line of the hymn?
I don't know. What is "May Jesus Christ be praised"?
That's it.
You got it. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to come up with the title. I don't know it.
Okay. All right. The answer is "When Morning Gilds the Skies."
My heart awakening cries. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, I get all these hymns get jumbled up in my head.
that's deep. I know. You
So
got the
congrats, Jeremy.
man.
Wow, Jeremy, you're taking this one, but taking the bull by the horns lately
Yeah,
in the trivia, man. Nice job.
Apparently, getting lucky.
he's had enough. Enough's enough.
All righty. Well, this Rogue podcast has been fun. We're gonna wrap it up as we always do with Fix Your Eyes. And Don actually had a good idea. We're just gonna take just about a minute each and just kind of share a little bit about what we've been learning or what we've been engaging with, reading about. So Ryan, why don't we go ahead and start with you? We'll go Ryan, Jeremy, Don, and then myself to close it out.
Sure. So yeah, coming to the podcast, sometimes we have some time to muse on things, and the challenge was what currently is on our heart, on our mind as we think about things of the Lord. And I think our morning message today at church kind of ties into some of the things we've even talked about tonight. And it was from Isaiah 8. And the challenge that was laid out at the end as a practical application for all of us is who are we looking to in these days? Back then, it was the nation of Israel. They were the ones that had to be challenged. They were going through some difficulties, and we're going through some difficulties here in our country these days as well. But we've got one who's on our side, who is in charge of the whole shebang. And whether it's political frustrations I have, the different conspiratorial ideas that are out there, it's easy for me to analyze all these things and to, like we've talked about earlier, what's our best course of action? We should always be asking for wisdom on how we handle these things, no doubt. But it was encouraging just to hear once again, we've got the one who is sovereign on our side, and I rest in that. And I just want to leave you all with that for my, Fix Your Eyes segment tonight, my portion of it. Let's continue to fix our eyes on the sovereign God that we serve.
That's
word.
awesome. I've been reading a book called What's Best Next, a guy by the Matt Perman, and he's written a book on time management, but just management kind of in general. It's a great read. It's a great read. I really recommend it. He was going through and talking about just a biblical perspective of how efficiency, like how you get things done. And he made a couple of points. Number one, that being efficient isn't always the best. And I often look for ways to be efficient in school. And that might be missing the point with some people, where you look over somebody's gift, or maybe you underestimate somebody, and to let some just organic things happen in your ministry that maybe is a little bit uncomfortable for you or whatever. But he comes to this point, he says, look, God has asked us to do good works. And he made this point that raising children is good works. It's a good work. And I needed that at this moment. But then he talks about just all these verses that have, do everything into good works. I mean, replete with always bearing much fruit. Those types of passages we're all familiar with in the Gospels and New Testament, the Old Testament as well. But then he puts this quote in by John Wesley. I want to leave you with this. I've been saying this to people in just my own mind. He says, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, for as long as you can. I thought, you talk about a mission statement of, just life and serving, and however long we have on this earth, do it all 100% every day, all the time. You sleep hard, you sleep well, and you know what? You've got no regrets. I love that thought. I'm swimming in that thought. It's great. So I'm going to do good works as unto the Lord for as long as I can, to everybody I can, for the time I can, and let God be praised.
Amen, brother. Ephesians 4:15 says, instead, we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, who is the head of his body, the church. Hearing a lot of things lately about speaking truth in love. I always think of that a cappella song, speaking truth in love. But that agape love that he's talking about, that's beneficial to the one you're speaking to when receiving the love. And whether you're in conversations with those people on Facebook or Twitter, we have a tendency to be combatant, and it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be spoken in love. And I think that as we have those conversations, may God give us wisdom and help us to express his truth in a loving way, so that we might turn people toward him instead of away from him.
Good stuff. I'm going to go to the greatest book in the Bible, which would be Romans. And I'm going to go to arguably the greatest chapter in the greatest book of the Bible, and that would be number 8, and close out with 4 questions at the end that Paul asks us, and it helps put things in perspective. First, he asks, if God is for us, who can be against us? Second question he asks is, who can condemn us? Third question, who can bring a charge against God's elect? And then finally, who or what can separate us from the love of Christ? And the answer to each one of those 4, for those that are in Christ, is no one and nothing at all. So no matter what we're facing today, let's anchor ourselves in that gospel truth that if God is for us, who can be against us? All righty. The Rogue episode 52. That's going to be a wrap on it on this May Day, May 1st, 2022. That is the year of our Lord.